y'all. Thank you for being here. Let's see. Hey, Heathen74. Hey, Pointer Lover. Hey, Juju Bones. Hey, Bunksy. Hey, Ava. Hey, Mark Fry. Yorkie. Hey, Kate Kate. Eddie. Hey, Natasha. Let's see. I think I got all of you guys, but Crumbs up at the top. And Forever Chasing the Sun and Jeannie. Thank you guys for being here. Holy cow, because we have a lot to go through. There's quite a lot of new information I want to show you guys. There's new videos to look at, but there's also the search warrants. And I've got my hands on those. We're going to look through them. I briefly looked over them just for a second, but not really in detail like I want to with you guys. So I think that'll be really interesting. Hey, Cat's Eye, KK, are you going to cover Madalena? Are you talking about Madalena Kojikari? See, I did cover that. I've done a few videos on it. I just haven't heard anything recently. Maybe there's some new stuff I haven't seen yet. Is there? Hey, Jinlu, my beautiful, flexible friend. Hey, Trap Mafia, Cat's Eye, Candy Cane. Candy Cane, last night we went over that body language stuff that you sent me. Hey, Leonard Amber. Unique Van Life. Good morning, Dukes. Hey, girl. Let's see. D-Lynn. Good to see you. Hey, Mind of Monsters. Thank you guys for being here. All right, so let's jump right into it. I found a couple videos I want to show you first. Well, let me just show you what all I've got in the file like to go through today. So, not this. So we have a few News Nation videos because they have a video about the prison chaplain who married them. They have a video about the search warrants we're going to look at. So I do want to see those. They also have a video, this one right here you can't see. It's with the state representative who is trying to make change in the area. And it really has not, it had like 1,000 views. I was surprised more people hadn't seen that. And then a quick video about his mother having spoken to police, potentially. A few posts from Holly's mom I wanted to show you guys that have came about throughout the investigation. This is another missing young lady. I want to take an opportunity while we're chatting today to show you guys. And then we have all the search warrants. Then we also have a local reporter who's been trying to get in contact with, the jail and other people, and she's having quite the time getting information. I want to show you guys that. So we have a lot to talk about. We're going to start with the videos though. I'm just going to start with the first one I've got in here because they all have good information that I want to talk to you guys about.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Are you kidding me? Hair Eyewear just sent me these.
Even though it's dark and depressing stuff, so don't get me wrong, because this stuff does affect you no matter what. I'm always excited to go through new information with you guys, new stuff that's coming out and have the conversation. I find it really interesting. Also, I got a comment that said something about, Alex, you should go on camera more. Or you should go on camera. I missed that. I like that about creators, and I guess they hadn't seen. I do like to go on camera. I do it quite often. Here lately, I haven't because sometimes I'm on panel with people who prefer not to. So I'm not going to go on camera with everybody else off camera. And then when I do these morning streams, yeah, I usually shower and get ready after the stream. So yes, but I promise to do that more anyways, because I know you guys appreciate being able to see somebody's face and their facial expressions and all the things. But I'm not trying to be when we have a whole panel of people be up here. Yeah, I just don't want to do that. So, okay.
Every time we learn something new about the Oklahoma Slumber Party massacre, it comes with a whole bunch of more.
Yes, my eyebrows.
It's definitely true with what I'm about to share with you tonight. The first piece of info comes from a guy named Ken Farnham. He's the prison chaplain who married Jesse and Holly McFadden. A lot of people have been wondering why he officiated that wedding of a sex offender a year after he was released from the jail, right? So why do you need a prison chaplain?
Smell good, Mark.
And then why also was the sheriff's administrative assistant, a woman named Melissa Smalley, why was she a witness to this pair's joyous day? Okay, well, the chaplain.
And before we get in what she says, let me read your comment. Duke says, have you seen this country girl's life? She's close, talks to parents. She is going to parents this weekend. Said if you have questions you would like her to ask Abby's parents, let her know. No, I haven't, but I'm going to screenshot your comment or take a picture of it on my phone right here so that I can go find the channel in a little bit. Hey, Evil CJ. Jim Pointer Lover, I just got one too. I'm sorry. Okay, now listen to this.
Farnham, he spoke to Erin Christie. She is a news anchor at Tulsa's station KJRH. And he said this was all a coincidence. He said he had never met McFadden before. He said he just happened to be at City Hall when Jesse and Holly turned up to get hitched. And the other officiants at that moment were busy. Thus, he says he stepped in. I'm a prison chaplain, so he said he could do it. That was what he told.
Okay, I said I wanted to say hi to you, Megan, but I didn't want to interrupt, so I tried to say it real fast, and I was like, "Hey, Megan, sorry." Okay, this is interesting. This man says that it happened at the courthouse, right? And it happened because the other people were busy, and he just happened to be there.
The news anchor. So then he also said about Smalley that was why she was a witness, because she was also working at City Hall, just happened to be there. I can totally do buy-in here that the chaplain never met McFadden and wouldn't have any idea that he's a convicted, dangerous sex offender marrying a woman with 3 kids. But you would think that Ms. Smalley would know who he was, because according to Ms. Smalley's LinkedIn page, one of her duties is registering people like Jesse McFadden, sex offenders. And McFadden had just been released like a year before, so he'd be registering in the last year. And you would think that their paths might have crossed. It's a really small community. The name McFadden isn't Smith. You'd think he would have stood out.
She makes some excellent points there. I'm sorry. I know the reporting can be iffy these days with her. And a lot of people have had issues with her reporting. But I got to say, she's making excellent points. Let me grab our next
Her
one.
son, the only on-site check
about
as a member of the sheriff's department. You would think she might have thought twice about overseeing a marriage of a mother of 3 teen kids to that guy, dangerous sex offender. And we've been getting a whole lot more questions also about the phone numbers, the 32 phones registered at the home where the murder-suicide took place. Specifically, Holly's mother and Holly's ex-husband both had phones that were registered to that murder address.
So what she said in her show was that Holly and her ex-husband lived here before Jesse. Look.
Now, early on, the home was described as McFadden's property, right? Almost like it was his hideaway, his torture chamber, his sex dungeon. Turns out it's not really the case. The house was actually rented by Holly and her ex-husband, Joe Guess, long before Jesse McFadden ever got his filthy face in the picture. So when Joe and Holly split up last year and Joe moved out, McFadden moved in.
That is very interesting, and I think that's important. I mean, one of the 32 phones that has, been all over the news is Joe's, Tiffany's dad, and he claims that, he feels like he's the parent of all those kids. Hey, Ruby. Hey, Melissa Jade. Hey, Astro from Space. Okay, so the next one, I'm going to go ahead and just flip over to this one because I want us to dig through these search warrants and the other things I have to look at. But I think each one of these videos offers something important for us to talk about, and I don't want to skip over it. So this one is actually about the search warrants. Hold on.
After that horrible monster in Oklahoma murdered his own wife, her 3 kids, and 2 kids who were on a sleepover, that sex offender, Jesse McFadden. After he did all of that, police issued 8 different search warrants on that home, okay? The first one, though, it's pretty amazing. We now know some of the things that the police took, and can I just tell you, you might have been able to hold it in one hand. I mean,
Hi, Lynn. I just recognized who you were, actually, and thank you for being here. And yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for what you guys are going through. Hey, Mia Moore Michelle. Over 90 children predators in just Henryetta. Unbelievable. Hey, Jordan. If someone connects to the Wi-Fi or they registered at that location, it's possible. I don't know, because it hasn't been very clear. Could it be on Facebook? You've tagged this location. I don't know exactly, but I mean, I would think that would be possible. I live in Tulsa and work in Okmulgee, which is 5 minutes north of there, and I learn more about what's going on with the case from YouTube than I do around here. Oh, wow. Unfortunately, a lot of extended family members are learning the truth. I am so sorry. God Almighty. Okay.
I mean, it's nuts to think that.
And I know you guys in the chat always keep it respectful, but if you can do me a favor and today keep it extra respectful, I would appreciate that a lot. I really would. Okay, let's keep going.
Processed a scene with one search warrant and walked out of there with like almost nothing. It's frustrating. It makes you angry.
Agreed.
But there's a couple of other things in the search warrants that might make you even more angry, like big glaring errors, the kind that you shouldn't do when 5 little kids get, killed by a sex offender, like mixing up the names of the victim's parents. That's bad. Mixing up the names of the victims. That's bad. Saying a car was impounded when it wasn't. And then an Amber Alert went out. It didn't. Stuff like that.
Wow.
Not good in a case that's already like so publicly now botched, right? Justin Webster's, Ivy Webster's dad. Ivy Webster was raped and murdered by this monster in this horrible murder-suicide. And Justin was one of the people whose names was mixed up in this warrant. And this is what he said. How many times does it take a sheriff's office to mess up over and over and over again to where we finally get an investigation into the sheriff's office? They failed once again, miserably.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just get the impression that they do not care. How can you make such, look, mistakes will happen. I completely, I could see that occasionally, but not like this. It's like they are putting no effort in, and it is infuriating. I collected more evidence personally than the sheriff's department did with a search warrant. Yeah, that is so wrong. I'm sorry. That should never have to happen. Thank God you did. Thank God you did. Because what would have happened to it, right? But that should never have to happen. It's infuriating. I'm start to get mad, you guys. Hey, Teresa, I'm pretty sure I got an Amber Alert notification on my phone for this case. Ooh, interesting. No effort at all. Ain't that right, Michelle? So good to see you. Hey, Search and Rescue K9. Does anyone think police may be involved in the ring? I don't necessarily think have any evidence to say, yes, I think so. But would I be surprised if there was something like that going on? No, I wouldn't. I agree with the father. Investigate the sheriff's office. Yes. Astro from space. This case is going to be hid. I wish the families knew what they had in their hands. Some of that. I wish the families knew what they had in their hands. Some of that. I kind of don't. Your comment a little bit confused me, but I do think that they're trying to, sweep things under the rug and not do their job. Just to clarify, I turned every single thing I collected to OSBI. It turned some oh my God. So this is Lynn, the Holly's aunt, who unfortunately had to go in there and collect the evidence because they weren't doing it. And thank God you did. And I'm so sorry. And she's clarifying. She turned every single thing. Everything she got went to police. Kate, not that I've seen. Everything in all cars. That's awesome. I'm so glad you did. I wish, I agree. Hey, Woofy. Okay.
Over and over and over again. We're also getting some answers to those 32 cell phones that were registered to that sex offender's property. 32? There's only 5 people living there. How do you get 32 numbers? That's why I want to bring in News Nation senior national correspondent Brian Enton. He is live in Henryetta, Oklahoma today. So
I like Brian Enton. I'm glad he's out there. I think, I have my criticisms of this network, but Brian Enton is not, he's one of the good ones in my opinion.
Start with the search warrant material. The KFOR reporter, our affiliate reporter, has seen some of the warrants. It's pretty upsetting.
And we have them. We're going to look at them.
Yeah, let me go through that with you real quick, Ashley, because we went through and kind of made bullet points of everything that's in these warrants so that you can understand. There are 8 search warrants total. Started on May 1st. First one, photos, State Farm, drive safe tokens, and receipts. And the State Farm drive safe tokens are basically these things that in your car that the insurance companies can track you with for your rates. That is all that was taken on May 1st. White Chevy Avalanche was impounded. And law enforcement seized some things from it. That was on May 8th. This is everything they seized. 8 latent print cards from Avalanche Processing, 5 palm and 3 fingerprints, 4 pairs of swabs from exterior door handles, 4 interior door handles, steering wheel from Avalanche, Route 66 lanyard with 2 Brinks keys on the ring, straw from driver's side, flat lid cup, straw from the passenger side, purchase receipts, the McDonald's cafe cups, DVD was processed. And you mentioned it. What's so frustrating for the family is there were errors in the search warrant. It incorrectly said that the Amber Alert was for Tiffany Guess and Ivy Webster. It was actually a missing and endangered alert. That is very different from an Amber Alert. An Amber Alert is much, much more serious. They also mixed up Tiffany's father's name with Ivy's father's name, which obviously has the family livid.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. It's like it's
3 different addresses listed for this ranch, even though it spans. I mean, just having everybody living at 3 different numbers along this road. That Avalanche was not impounded. It had like something called a no-touch hold on it, which is very different. Families were able to open and look and touch and all the rest. So whatever their processing yielded. So now talk to me about those 32 cell phones. What's the mystery? Because that sounded really ugly, and I thought maybe that's more perps. What did it turn out to be?
Okay, this is important because we've been talking about the 32 cell phones. It's actually 19.
Melissa, I agree. She's definitely a guardian angel or, a savior in this.
Cell phone numbers that were connected to the property, 32 accounts, but it's 19 numbers. All but 4 belong to former tenants. So most of the numbers have nothing to do with this case, it appears, and none of them, from what we can tell, are on the sex offender list. But of those 4, some connected to Holly, Jesse McFadden's wife, some connected to Holly's mom. But what's interesting is from what we can tell in our research, none of the cell phones are technically connected to Jesse McFadden.
Wow, there we go. That is very interesting. And you see how remember when that came out, 32 phones, the way that it appears when you read stuff on the media, I don't know. It's just interesting to see that when it's all said and done, they didn't have anything to do with Jesse.
Okay. Totally bizarre. That's where he lives. Convicted sex offender he has a cell phone. You know it. I wonder where he registered or somebody registered it for him.
Okay, we have some other things that I want to look at before we get into these search warrants and stuff. This is very short, but it's important. And then
looks better.
Scott Fetgatter, I think his name is. He is the person who is working to try to change some of the laws. They are actually introducing a bill, I think, next week. And that bill would just be basically that if you are a sex offender in the state of Oklahoma, you will not get out early. You have to do your full time, period. Now, this came out since the last time I was live, and I thought it was quite interesting. So let me show you guys this really quick.
So let's start with Jesse McFadden's mom. Ready for this? Sheriff's investigator told a judge, this was in a request for a search warrant, that Jesse McFadden called his mommy on the evening of April 30th and talked to LaDonna McFadden, that's mommy, about killing himself. LaDonna McFadden told a reporter, like a couple days later, after the massacre, the mass suicide that he did, and the mass murder suicide, She said to the reporter, "My heart is breaking for the victims. I don't understand it. I never, ever would have expected anything like this." And yet told a sheriff's investigator that monster called her on the evening of April 30th, talked about killing himself. So that's pretty new. Pretty shocking.
He called his mom on the evening of April 30th and talked about taking his own life. No missing persons report was ever made for Holly and the kids. Her mom was on the way to file one in Henryetta when she learned of the murder. Okay. It was an emergency alert extreme. I got it too. Okay. Well, I guess I'm a little relieved to know that some of you guys did get alerts and stuff, but it's just frustrating, this whole thing.
Also, some other exclusive information tonight. That Oklahoma farmhouse that was rented to Jesse McFadden by a landlord named Raymond Paget. Raymond had legal authorization to rent that house because he was in an ugly divorce with his estranged wife, and that thing was in receivership, which meant he wasn't supposed to rent or collect anybody. So he was an toll. Did he know that he was renting illegally to a guy who was a sex offender with teenage kids that were going to live in the house? Is there a reason he callously demanded, "Get your stuff and get out of here," to those victims' family members who came to figure out what happened?
Yeah, I'm sorry, but that's bullshit.
Paget has quite a criminal past himself, it turns out. Assault and battery with a dangerous weapon, domestic abuse, all in April of 2012. And then in January of 2006, another assault and battery. All right, there's that. Then there's Holly. They know before. And what could she have done to change what happened to her and her family and those two visiting kids? What? Well, it turns out that she did a few deceptive things in her past. When she was getting a divorce from her previous husband, Joe Guess, they filed documents that said there are no minor children of the marriage and acted. Problem with that is that the divorce notice was December 2021.
Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. I'm not going to, I've not been happy with Ashley Banfield's coverage of Holly and the whole situation because there's been some inaccuracies, in my opinion, as far as the ledger and all that stuff goes. However, we are going to talk about Holly and Joe. When they got divorced, they didn't, and just briefly, we're going to talk about it. Reportedly, they filed as if there were no kids in the relationship. Now, why would they do that? People like Ashley Banfield makes a point. Did she do that because she was about to, because of Jesse, or I forget how she words it, but basically like that. I don't see that. I mean, Joe, remember his interview? Why would he go along with that? I would think, like, when I think to myself of reasons you might do something like that, when file that there's no kids in the relationship, maybe you don't want to deal with family court and CPS and custody and all of those issues, and you just want to do that privately. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Child support. Oh, that's a good point. Unique fan life. Child support. Also, Joe spent Christmas Eve in Henryetta in the house with Joe and Holly with the kids. With Jesse and Holly with the kids? Is that what you mean? Interesting. Christmas Eve. Didn't want to pay child support. That makes sense. It's not their kids, right? No, one of them is. So the two oldest are not biologically his. However, he said he looked at them like they were his kids too. I think Riley was a baby when they got together. Really, because he mentions that Riley was like two. I don't know. I can't remember. I'd have to go back to the interview. I don't want to misquote it. But one of them are. No, Jesse and Holly don't have kids, but Joe is Tiffany's dad. Perhaps they were not Joe's bio kids. That's why my ex and I did it. Oh, interesting. Okay. We were grown enough to make decisions regarding our daughter without the state being involved. See, now that makes sense to me, because I wouldn't necessarily want anybody telling me what to do with my kids either, especially if you can get along with your ex enough to do visits and stuff like that together. He slept overnight with his girlfriend Christmas Eve at the house in Henryetta. Interesting. Okay. Could it have been a clerical issue? Hey, Crumb Sleuthin. People try to leave courts out of child support issues here in Oklahoma because if the state can grab up your support money, they will. Seen it happen a lot. Thank you. Interesting. See, that makes sense to me. Hey, Trina. Hey, Kimber. I'm Taylor from Stitchin', Beatchin', and True Crime. I like your name. Okay. The last video I'll save. Let's look at these warrants because the last video is about changes in the laws there. And I think it's important to talk about. But I want to look at these search warrants first. Before I move on to that, let me show you guys this. This young lady is missing. Please load. Just while we have people here and... yeah, so she's missing from Texas. Her name, this must be the case you were talking about. You said Madalena, but I wonder, Kate, were you talking about this? Madeline has been missing. Madeline Pantoja has been missing since May 10th. It has been 9 days since she was last seen in Midland, Texas. This case is screaming foul play. Her best friend was the last person to see her alive and well. The Pascal Show did an interview with one of her friends. Here's the missing person flyer for anybody in that area. If you see her, there's the number on the screen, 432-685-7108. She has 2 butterfly tattoos behind her right ear and a snake with a rose tattoo on her right arm. She's absolutely beautiful girl, So, yeah, you guys keep your eyes out. Maybe we will dig into this case. I just wanted to take the opportunity, since I know a lot of people are very interested in the McFadden case, and try to use some of that interest for a little bit of good, where it could be used. You know what I mean? So, okay. Now, let me find the beginning of these search warrants, and we're going to look at them. Let's have a look for ourselves. So, this is the affidavit for a search warrant in the white Chevy Avalanche, 2007 white Chevy Avalanche. They were looking for blood-stained articles, physiological fluids and secretions, hairs, fibers, fingerprints, palm prints, footprints, fingernails, shoe prints, shoes, clothing, other garments, weapons, firearms, projectiles, ammunition, bullet casings and jackets, bullet fragments, fired cartridge casings, and items containing traces of the preceding articles, any articles of personal property, including electronic devices. Now, I just want to say, I know that they have to, I'm sorry, that is so annoying, that I think it's the marina. But anyways, they have to list everything that they are expecting to take. That's the way that these warrants work. So when you see what they've got listed here, you can at least kind of get inside the mind of the officer and kind of think about what he's expecting to see and what he's expecting to take. Hey, Texas Tiff. Look at the date of that search warrant on the vehicle. I was looking for that. Hold on, let's see. Is that May 8th? Wow. Let's see. The OSBI. Okay. I was like, who did this? OSB? Because like I said, I just got these right before the live. I have not had a chance to even look at them for myself yet, besides just glancing at them. So this was when Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation took over, and all the way on a week later, a week into things. Interesting. 7 days. Yeah. 7 days after the murders. Unbelievable. I mean, what the hell? Should that not have been done immediately? B. Crumbs, you can use the Payless Divorce Company in Tulsa to divorce with children if nothing is contested. People sometimes divorce and not even mention their children. I wouldn't do that myself. Yeah, a whole week. Unbelievable. All right, let's keep going because it says, This is about the avalanche. The vehicle is presently secured in a large metal building safeguarded by a locked entrance and a perimeter fence located at Newton Wrecker and Auto in Oklahoma in the county of Okmulgee. As probable cause for believing that said information may be found at the location and within the aforementioned vehicle, affiant states as follows. So wait a minute. I'm going to have a huge problem if all these search warrants are botched, and even with the OSBI. But okay, let me continue. Let me just read what they wrote here. On May 1st, Okmulgee Police Department Chief Joe Prentice requested partial assistance at 14600 Holly Road, Henryetta, Oklahoma. The investigation was regarding an Amber Alert which was issued on the same date for 2 missing juvenile females. The females were last seen with Jesse McFadden. On the morning of May 1st, Okmulgee County Sheriff's Office responded to McFadden's residence located at 14600 Holly Road, Henryetta, Oklahoma, and discovered the front door ajar. McFadden also failed to appear at Muskogee County District Court for pending charges of possession of child pornography. McFadden is the registered owner of a 2007 white Chevy Avalanche. The Amber Alert stated that McFadden and the missing juveniles were believed to be in McFadden's vehicle. Now, is this the vehicle he picked up the girls in? I would assume so, but I don't know. On the same date, law enforcement officers discovered the deceased bodies of McFadden, Holly, and 5 juveniles on the property located at 14600 Holly Road, Henryetta, Oklahoma. McFadden's vehicle was located across the road from the residence on Holly Road after consent was granted by the property owner. The vehicle was towed to Newton Wrecker with a no-touch hold on May 1st. On May 6th, the Okmulgee County DA requested OSBI full investigative assistance into identifying, documenting, and gathering information. Based on my training and experience, your affiant believes the forensic evidence sought in this affidavit could be located in the vehicle and will be sought in forensic processing of the vehicle, the presence or absence of which will be relevant in this investigation. The other items sought, such as shoes, clothing, garments, weapons, firearms, bullet casings, cartridge casings, and items containing traces of any of the preceding articles will also assist in this investigation. Any articles of personal property tending to establish the identity of the person or persons in control or possession of the vehicle will be relevant in proving the actions of the suspect. It will be a traditional search of the vehicle as well as a forensic processing. Okay, so let me keep going because we have more. Well, we got lots of them. Well, not lots, but maybe 10 pages or something. Wait a minute. This is the same thing over again. Maybe I accidentally sent it back to myself. Okay, let me go into the next one. That's also about the vehicle. It looks slightly different, but this is the storage unit, I believe. Yes. Okay. Now remember, Holly had a check found at the house that was written out to a storage unit. Many people have wondered about this storage unit. I'm glad that they got warrants for it. They got the warrants on May 11th. You know, they weren't quick about it, but anyways. In the name of the state of Oklahoma, probable cause having been shown on this date before me by OSBI Special Agent Tatiana Scott for believing the following described property. They're looking for any forensic evidence, including but not limited to DNA samples, hairs, fibers, fingerprints, and any other physical trace or biological forensic evidence. They're looking for guns that are capable of firing bullets, any ammunition capable of being fired by a gun, any items belonging to victims, witnesses, or potential suspects in the case, including but not limited to wallets, purses, clothing, jewelry, any electronic communication devices, all computers, including but not limited to desktop computers, laptop computers, routers, modems, cell phones, and or other media devices capable of accessing the internet and or storing digital media such as external hard drives, thumb drives, CD DVDs. The property is located at and is now being kept, processed, and on the premises of the above named location and is now located in Okmulgee County. It's described as follows: 710 West Corporation, Unit G41, Henryetta, Oklahoma. It's a single-story building composed of storage units. And yeah, so I'm glad that they searched that. Let's keep going. What is this one? The following, so no items were seized from the storage unit. Warrant return, no items seized to Tatiana. Okay, that's interesting. This is the affidavit for a search warrant of, this was filed May 15th. Okay. This is from Jason Dawson is the one writing this one. The interior passenger compartment. What is this for? The avalanche? It says the interior passenger compartment to include the motor compartment, external shell, and bed. The search will include any firearms, ammunition, shell casing, gunshot residue, blood, DNA, cellular phones, or other communication devices, any evidence and or digital recordings, any other evidence located on or within the vehicle described, and to preserve any evidence of the murder-suicide that occurred on the property of 14360 Holly Road. What? That's one of the places they must have got the address wrong. Oh my God. You can't really see the pictures of, I think that's the avalanche. I can't tell. They're so, it's sort of like when we saw the pictures in the affidavit for Letitia, you know? Okay. Your affiant was made aware of a missing persons case involving a 14-year-old female named Tiffany Guess. Wow. So this is what she's talking about. Check that out. Your affiant was made aware of a missing persons case involving a 14-year-old female named Tiffany Guess. Oh my God almighty. We know Tiffany wasn't one of the missing, right? It was Brittany and Ivy. Not only that, I can tell you when I started covering this case, my first video on it was May 2nd, the day after they were found. And yes, was it confusing to try to remember and know everybody's names and stuff? Yes, but you have to do that when you're going to be talking about it. It's important. These details are important. Now, I'll be damned if it's important for a YouTube creator or somebody who's on the news or somebody who's on a podcast or whatever. It is exceptionally important for the police to get it right? They should know who they're talking about. It's, oh my God, unbelievable. Tiffany was never reported missing. Dee Lynn is in the chat. She is a family member. She's the aunt who found all the stuff in the house and has been on News Nation. And she said in the chat a few minutes ago, they were just about to report Holly and the kids missing when they were made aware of what happened. They were never reported missing. That's just so it's infuriating. Hey, Crime Curious, good to see you. The truck was not located on the house property. They gave correct address. Oh, okay. Thank you. Good. See, I don't know much about the truck. Let's see. The storage unit was released to Holly's mom 2 days ago. It's not the first case Oklahoma has messed up. They also messed up Molly Miller and Colt Haynes' case here as well. OSBI is working hard, but they won't release information yet because it's an open case. When they arrived, it became an active crime scene under their control. Right. And I'm sure you guys were very thankful for them to take over, because I think everybody was. But do you feel that you wish, and is the FBI, because I've heard from other creators who I do trust their information, but, I don't know, is that the FBI was working with them in assistance, but OSBI was taking the lead. But I don't know if that's correct. The 4 bodies together were staged. That wasn't the location of the death. See, we had been talking about that over here, about what he meant by they were staged, and, what that possibly meant for the case, and where the crime took place and how it took place. So thank you for that. I assume you've seen the document that verified McFadden was Choctaw. You know what? I don't think I saw it that verified he was. I've saw some that talk about his brother. I've seen reports on it, but I haven't seen the documents for myself. Okay. I know for a fact one FBI agent was present the day they got there and took over. Awesome. That is really good to hear. Really, really good to hear. I heard the FBI was involved somewhere. Yep. I don't know that this case would have been taken over if there hadn't been so much coverage. Well, you know what? Thank God. I don't either, Kimber. But if it wasn't for, the family going in there, Lynn going in there, getting all the evidence and videotaping it, I truly don't know if things would be the same either. Because when those videotapes came out of what was found in that house, people started paying attention. You know what I mean? The whole world woke up and they got angry. We're all angry, and yeah, it's really interesting. Not only is it important, but for respect, the info needs to be correct, especially names. That's how misinformation starts. We should be able to trust law enforcement. Hey, Lori. Oh, yes, that's right, D-Lynn. I did hear that. Jesse hid the truck on the neighbor's property. I forgot about that. I think I heard that with Kate and Tia. Unfortunately, not all the family was happy. Not all the family was happy about the FBI taking over. I personally spoke with the FBI agent. She was the lead on the case. Wow, that is really good. And that makes sense. FBI is usually quiet, so glad they're on it. Me too. Glad to know FBI is involved. I completely agree. Hey, Hot Mess. I'm so happy their families went back, because without that, we wouldn't know any of this. Thank you, Lou. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. Okay, let's keep looking at this. Okay. Named Tiffany Guess. I was later made aware that a second juvenile female was reported missing from Henryetta PD. Deputy from that dispatch advised that Ashley Webster, was wanting to report her. Why did they say it like that? Deputy from reported that dispatch. I don't know. Am I reading was something wrong with my brain? I can't read that correctly. Anyways, Ashley Webster was wanting to report her daughter, Ivy Webster, missing. Ashley stated that on April 29th, 2023, at approximately 10:56 hours, Ivy wanted to spend the night with her friend Tiffany at 14360 Holly Road in Okmulgee County. Deputy from reported, it's like that again, that the last time Ashley had contact with Ivy on April 29th at approximately 10 p.m. via Snapchat message. Ashley advised that Ivy told her they were going to McAllister, Oklahoma to fix a fence. Ashley told Ivy she was to come home. She was to be home at 1700 hours on Sunday, April 30th. Ashley and her husband Justin, Ivy's adoptive father, called Ivy's phone several times along with Ivy's friend parents' phones. Ashley identified Tiffany's parents as Jesse and Holly, but was unable to provide their last names. Justin advised they were able to get in contact via cell phone with Jesse, who advised they were stuck and then lost reception. After being unable to make contact with anyone, they called law enforcement. I was advised that exigent cellular phone pings showed Jesse's wife Holly McFadden's cell phone was actively pinging on or near the property as of May 1st at 12:45 hours. I was advised that Tiffany's cellular phone was pinged on or near the property but has since lost signal. I was advised by Lieutenant Hill of Jesse's conversation with his mother, LaDonna McFadden, on the evening of April 30th. I was advised that Jesse told his mother that he was not going back to prison and he decided to kill himself. Oh my God almighty. When did they talk to his mom? Was it right after he told her that she called police? Because that's frustrating. That is unbelievably frustrating, especially since, what was it? She told the news reporters. I don't remember, but yeah, that is okay. Let me continue. On May 1st, 2023, the number was issued by Okmulgee County District Court for the above mentioned address. During the execution of this warrant, the remains of 7 individuals were found on the property south and east of the residence. A white in color Chevrolet Avalanche was located on the property just north of the residence on the north side of Holly Road. The Avalanche is registered to Holly Guest, who is now Holly McFadden. Said property was also listed on the search warrant. The Avalanche was impounded and investigative hold was placed with Newton's Wrecker. I gotta know what you guys think about the part with it, the stuff with his mom. If he was, I don't know, Mark. Who knows? Well, I don't know if we'll ever know some of the answers, or the answers to some of the questions we have. You're reading Oklahoma English. Hey, y'all. I believe the majority of the answers will be found in all the phones and any technology. Oh, yeah. I think they're going to be full of evidence. Completely full. Well, I showed you guys on his Twitch. He was streaming for sure. It said he was last live 4 months ago. And you see him talking about streaming. Now, there were no videos there. I don't know if he's deleted it. But he was certainly live streaming. Then we looked at his Twitter the other day. If you guys missed that, oh, my God. Like, you probably glad that you missed it because it was quite sick. He was, and I showed you guys some of them, the ones that didn't have nudity, the pictures that he was liking and commenting on, and him trying to lure people out to his his place. He's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Could From be the last name of the deputy? I can look back at the top to double check that. Holly and Jesse were on dating profiles looking for other females to join them. That's interesting. I don't know. I don't think that's super uncommon or super common, but Ivy's mom said in an interview that that was the first time they'd ever talked to Jesse. I find that strange. Well, I know some of the parents had talked about talking to Jesse a few times and never thinking that there was anything alarming, When he called them that Sunday evening to say they were heading to McAllister, which was a lie, and they lost service and stuff. I'm thinking that who knows what took place over the days before they were found. I think it was an absolute nightmare. And, it's it's probably haunting to the people who knew them. And I'm so sorry because it's haunting for all of us too, you know, so I can't imagine. And the fact that I hope that the electronics will bring some answers to some of those questions, just so that because without answers, there's never fully peace of mind. And I do believe that there's going to be some answers on that stuff, but oh, thank you, Melissa. You don't have to do that. Thank you. So appreciate that. Hey, Magenta Trauma. I have no thoughts. His mom should have called the police when he made suicide threats. Yep, I agree with you. I personally found 8 cell phones. Now, see, what I had understood from the press conference was that they did take one phone from the house that first day, and it was Holly's phone. But I don't know if that's correct. You know, I don't know. From is the deputies. Okay. Thank you, Crime Sleuthin. She should have called the cops right away. Oh, my God, Lexi. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry, you guys. Oh, I heard it's going to be played at, I guess, 11 California time today. I can't wait to see. Yes, so sorry for your loss. Sending love and healing to the family and friends. Oh, Wolfie, thank you. Thank you, guys. Hey, Mystic. Oh, B Crumbs, you guys don't have to do that. Thank you, guys. Hey, Blue Heron. See, I want to call you Blue Heron because of my kids calling it a Heron. Hey, Sandra, I found 5 the next day. Oh, my God. Wait a minute. Hold on. Okay, so 5 the first day, 3 the next day, not on top of the 8. I was about to scroll back and be like, whoa. But that makes sense. Thank you, guys. This is just so terrible. It is. I cannot imagine how you guys must feel. I'm so sorry. Oh, thank you, Melissa. I appreciate that so much. Was there anything else witchcraft related other than the books visible? Was there an altar or anything? Yes, there was, but didn't scare me. I walk with Jesus. I don't think the witch books had anything to do with the crime. It's no different. No, I agree. And, you know, I want to say that too, because I had gotten a comment before and they were like, you know, just because you're Wiccan doesn't mean you're bad. And I don't think that at all. I know some really amazing, incredible people who, like the Incognito Gypsy, who is the most kind-hearted, gentle soul, you know, and she believes a little differently. She, you know, there's good and bad of every religion. That's just the truth. I do find it interesting, like, because I know Holly had the store, but also Jesse, on an old Facebook page I found of his when he was in prison, I'm assuming because the picture is like a prison picture, you know, you can tell with the background and, you know, the clothes he's wearing. And anyways, he had like 3 pages on there. He liked one page that was about someone being wrongfully convicted. He liked another page that was like something random. And then the third like that he had was a witchcraft thing. So I don't know. I thought that was kind of interesting. Thank you, Mystic. I appreciate you guys so much. We are peaceful, nature-loving people. Yes. Wiccans actually have a large representation here in Oklahoma. So sorry to any family or friends having to deal with loss. And now the ugliness of this case. And it's not only that, the misinformation, man. You know, and look, we're all learning as we go, right? You might get things wrong. That's okay. You're human. But some of it has just been, like when you went on Ashley Banfield and she asked you, whose handwriting was it? And you're like, I'm not sure. You don't give an answer to that. I know that Tia stated that it looks like she's seen it herself and it appears to match Jesse's from his prison letters. But then she goes out on another, like the next thing Ashley Banfield says is it was Holly's writing. Where did you get that? And why do you, like, how can you say that? On national, I don't know. It's frustrating. Oh, thank you, Steffa. Thank you for coverage on all of these cases. Much love. Thank you. Agreed about the books. There are bad people to begin with. Just like voodoo, you can do bad or good. That's true. I feel like if he was doing any kind of, like I wouldn't put it past him to be doing some kind of dark magic or something. It's huge in Oklahoma. I'm in Oklahoma. Okay. Holly was atheist, not Wiccan. Thank you, Dylan. Interesting. Wasn't 100% sure. Crystal, I would love to do it. I got to go pick up my kids from school right around that time. So, oh, thank you, Eddie. Thank you. Whose books were those then? His? Well, Holly had a store, she had a little business selling like, it was like, bath stuff, like, pretty regular items, but it had, the vibe of, look, Holly was looking into the Wiccan religion because her sister is Wiccan. And I think her business was with her sister, if I'm not mistaken. But, oh, thank you guys. All right, now I want to show you guys something else I found. Let's see. This is a local reporter there, and she has been busting her butt trying to get answers on why this monster was ever walking the streets to begin with. And this was a tweet from the 18th, yesterday. It says, K4 and I have filed open record requests with the Okmulgee Sheriff's Office, one for Jesse McFadden's home compliance checks, which we got on May 1st, and another for his 90-day self-check-ins. We have not received records on the self-check-ins, so we ask why. It's hard to hear, but what the Okmulgee County Sheriff's Office receptionist tells me is she has been instructed to refer all those requests to the DA's office. I ask, how is it that I'm able to get part of my request but not the other? She claimed no one there could answer. Let me play this.
I was able to get so I can't even get his 90-day self-check-in because it had nothing to do with the homicide. I was able to get one document, but I can't get the other one. No, you're good.
Interesting, you guys. Let me keep reading what she says. Then she says, excuse me. I've been trying to get a hold of the person behind the Okmulgee County Sheriff email address for days. The first part of my request was fulfilled within a couple of days, so why can't the other be fulfilled? So far, no replies and no more questions. And I'm going to keep reading what she says, but let's take a look at this email, okay? She says, hi there. I'm just circling back around to see if you've confirmed Jesse was in compliance with self-checking every 90 days with your department. I'm also still wondering what different intervals means when it comes to home compliance checks. Could you please explain? I also know this part may take some time, but we'd also like to request any records pertaining to McFadden's self-checks. Please take this as our formal open records request. Our deadline is next Tuesday, May 16th at noon. Thank you for all your help so far. Hi again, just following up on this question and the self-check-in request. Will you be able to fulfill that request by tomorrow at noon? Hello, circling back around to see if you're able to send me the 90-day self-check reports for McFadden by noon today. Then she says, we stopped by the DA's office yesterday afternoon just before they closed. Neither the DA or the ADA, the assistant DA, was available, so I left my information and was told I'd receive a call this morning. So far, I've not received a call about my inquiry. I have also sent an email. Why is my open records request being forwarded to the DA's office? Why is it this difficult to get a hold of someone? Why did I receive one part but not the other? Trying to get answers. Then she says, despite being told by the DA's office that I'd get a phone call this morning, she is busy all day. I was suggested to try again tomorrow. I have now filed a complaint with the State Attorney General's office. Update. I just received this from the DA. I am looking into this matter. This was right after I emailed her again about my request. So she is not getting many answers, and she's persistent as hell. But if you want my honest opinion, I believe it's because they're probably ashamed of what those answers might look like. I would not be surprised at all if none of the things were done that were supposed to be done, period. All right, let me check some of your comments back a little bit because I don't want to miss any. Let's see. Business was with the sisters. Okay. Also, under Oklahoma law, Jesse could live in the house with children as long as he and Holly were legally married. I thought so. We were talking about that. And I figured that was the case. We actually looked it up one day during a live, and it said, it was talking about, we looked up basically restrictions and stuff that he would have. And I think we talked about that a little bit. D-Lynn, my dad said that the FBI kicked y'all off the property. Oh, thank you, Crime Sleuthin. They interviewed everyone on the property and asked us to leave so they could go through the house and property to collect evidence. We were there legally and did nothing wrong. Okay. I'm glad they interviewed you guys, though. Cray. Hey, Tony. 1 hour. Oh, my God. I was there on the property for 12 hours before I was released, along with one other family member. OSBI was very kind to us. Good. Oh, thank you, Pepper. You guys are the best. Thank you. Yes, thank you for all you have done and still doing. Absolutely. I completely agree, D-Lynn. There is some serious funny business going on. Mm-hmm. I think that's important, D-Lynn. The chances are when men like him usually know other creeps like him, and you often hear of people who are in that world of like child pornography and stuff, that they run in circles of other people who are also into that stuff. So I think what you did was so important. And yeah, I think it was a huge blessing to this case. Hey, KDK. As long as it's an open investigation, they can hide from public record request under that. Yep. Yes, send in love and healing to Lexi too, both of you guys. Okay. Now, before we go, I want to show you another thing. This is about... Remember the man I showed you guys that is part of the Oklahoma House of Representatives that was, had been speaking up really since, I want to say close to the beginning, about the laws needing to change and stuff like that. The governor also spoke out a little bit, but he went on News Nation with Ashley Van, with this other lady, I forget her name. And I want you guys to see this. Now, I will say at one part, she calls Jesse Scott. Scott is the representative's name. It irks me a little bit. I'm sure it was like, just a little mistake and we all make them. But it's like, no, you just called him Scott McFadden or, or something. I don't know. You guys will hear it and we'll talk about it. But yeah, this is important and it's interesting.
In response to these murders, at least one lawmaker in Oklahoma is calling for change. He's pushing a bill that would lengthen the prison sentence for offenders of serious sex crimes like Jesse McFadden. Oklahoma State Representative Scott Gatter is with us this morning. Once again, sir, thank you for joining us on the program. I applaud you for what you're doing because this case highlighted some lapses in the system that cost lives, teenage lives. What's the status of those discussions right now?
Can I just say to you guys in the chat who are family members and any friends or anything, if there is ever anything that I can do, whether it's with my platform, off my platform, just anything, please feel free to reach out to me. If there is anything at all anything, please just ask, because I would totally help in any way I could with it. I don't know if there's any way that I can, but just let's say there's an instance where you're like, hey, we'd like to try to get this information out quick, or I don't know, anything. Just know that you can always reach out and and I'll try to help as best as I can. Okay, let me see before we keep listening. I have full faith in the OSBI. If there is anything else out there to know, they will find it. There's just been so many mistakes. Yeah. Ugh. People say that those are smooth talkers and very manipulating. Yep. I could see that. They'd have to learn how to be right to get away with what they want to do. Thank you, Callie, for being here. He's cute too, Mystic. Okay.
In the state legislature, I understand you have until next Friday before the session comes to an end.
Yes, thank you for having me again, Marnie. Senate Bill 572 is the vehicle that we're using. That vehicle is currently in the Senate, so it's a Senate bill. And I have language prepared. I have a senator who is working to put the language in the bill.
No, Mystic.
And at that time, once that language is in the bill, we will get that signed out of the Senate Conference Committee. It'll come to the House Conference Committee. We'll get it signed out of here, and then we'll try to get it on the floor by next week for a vote.
By next week for a vote. Yeah, this is, like I said, the House of Representatives, state of Oklahoma House of Representatives, not federal. His name is Scott Fettgatter. I think I said his last name right. It's something like that. You'll hear them say it.
Okay, and specifically, what is in the bill you're proposing?
So as you know, and from our previous conversations, time was very short. So I had to make sure I got something that I could get passed. So we would take any of child molestation, child trafficking, rape, those types of crimes, those really heinous sexual crimes would become 100% sentences. There would be no good.
You can't get out on good behavior. I mean, how the hell you get out on good behavior when you assault people in jail and you're in jail for a sex crime, but yet you get charged with another sex crime while you're in jail and you still get out on good behavior? And if he was still locked up, or if he would have served his full time, he would have still been in there on the day he committed this crime. And yes, like I said, any way that I can help, I totally understand that. And I think that, yeah, I'm glad that you're in the trauma therapy. I think that that's the best thing for you. And that's, yeah. Okay.
Good time credits earned, no achievement.
I didn't want to ask
earned.
anybody, I didn't want to ask anybody to speak personally. And you guys are, okay, I appreciate you guys in the chat. I know that it's really tough times right now. And if you came to me and said, hey, I want to speak out about this, then we would do it. But I don't want to be asking or pushy because I know it's just, it's tough times right now. So, and yeah. Okay.
If you're sentenced to 20 years, you would serve out 20 years. And that's the main focus of the legislation right now.
What about violent sexual offenders once they have served their sentence and are released? Does your bill address any part of that component once they're out in the sex offender registry?
Yeah, so that's an issue that I'm going to try to tackle over the interim because of the short time period. I had to move quickly with legislation I could get. That's a longer conversation in how that's reported and what what else can we do? What type of alerting can we do? What can we do constitutionally? A lot of people want us to, file legislation that would pose the death penalty on these types of.
Hey, I'm not against that. I would like to see that as well. Kate has been, yes, she's done an excellent job with this. I love her channel. I think that can one of you guys grab her link for other people in the chat who haven't heard of her channel, because she has covered this so in-depthly. She's also done panels with locals in the area and things like that. It's really interesting. So you don't want to miss those live streams if you haven't heard of her or seen them yet. Oh, thank you, Melissa. I so appreciate you so much. I really do. Wait, have you been to trivia nights? How cool. I will be getting back to it on Tuesday. I was covering Letitia and everything become crazy, but I can't wait to return. Oh, that is so awesome. I used to talk to him before he ran when he was deciding on whether to get into politics. That's cool. I'm all thank you guys for getting Kate's link. You guys, please go check out her channel. How do you guys feel about death penalty for child crimes like this, for crimes against children like this? Or, even, well, we'll stick with against children, because his initial, both of his crimes were against people underage. The one that got him locked up from 2003, the one from the jail, and then now. So all three of them, and who knows what we don't know about. But how do you guys feel about the death penalty in these sorts of cases? I agree, Candy Cane. I totally agree. Because he put himself with a family with kids in his, in that bracket of ages where he's, it's just gross that he seems to be attracted to. Kate has taken calls and texts from me at 1 a.m. She's kept secrets I shared. She's a remarkable human. That is so sweet. I love that. I believe this is a case of nepotism. It was his mother working for the courts. I think maybe they gave this perv more leniency than they would have otherwise, based on his mother, in my opinion. That's what they say. Oh my gosh. I got through my MS diagnosis by doing trivia on Melissa's channel. That is so cool. I remember your name in the chats. Like I swear, because I'd remember a D Lynn and I didn't know how to pronounce it. She really is D Lynn. She's a good cookie. I swear, I think I remember your name, and maybe even in Mandy C's or something, or somewhere like that. I had no idea. I'm so glad I was able to bring a distraction and some laughs. That is so cool. What a small world. I heard Crime Curious. I can't wait to see. Yeah, Melissa is brilliant. She really, really is. That is so freaking cool. Okay, let's keep listening to this, because I want y'all to hear her even get the name wrong at the end. It's quite awful.
Criminals, and the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled that that's unconstitutional. However, Florida is now challenging that. So we'll watch that closely as well to see what direction we may want to take there. So my main goal right now was we also address the court in this legislation. We give the court 9 months from the time of any charges, additional charges, while you're incarcerated, felony charges. We give you 9 months to have that first hearing, which, as you know, from your following this case, that was part of the problem. Was he was released in awaiting hearing for additional crimes he committed while he was in prison. So we addressed that in this legislation as well. But as far as what's reported out there on the sex offender list, it's a longer conversation that we'll have over the interim, and then we'll file a petition next session for that.
Okay. And finally, Representative, there are thousands of people that have signed a petition online asking for serious sex offenders like Scott McFadden to carry a lifetime.
Like Scott McFadden. Did you hear that?
Prison sentence. Of people that have signed a petition online asking for serious sex offenders like Scott McFadden to carry a lifetime prison.
He's like, lady, I'm Scott. Huh? That's what? I'm sorry. I couldn't help but catch that when I watched it. D-Lynn, were you in in Mandy C's chat as well sometimes? Or because I remember an account and she would call it Daylin and it was D-Lynn. I remember, and maybe that was somebody else, but maybe not. It's such a small world, and it's so cool. And I'm so sorry that you were kind of like in this little community anyways, and now your family and your story is being told over here. I can't imagine how that must feel. Yeah, like Scott McFadden. He's looking at her like, oh no, I don't think so. Okay, maybe that's another D-Lynn. I remember in the chats also. Yeah, it's crazy. It's a small world, you guys. Very cool though. All right. Well, I think that's all for this one. I'm going to do a little search on this reporter's Twitter to see if she's released anything today. The local news, the K4 reporter, she's done a really good job. She's a pretty girl too, but Henryetta update. That's the one that we just had looked at. So she says, for there to have been a state mandated, okay, we have filed another open records request with the Okmulgee Sheriff's Office for McFadden's 90-day self-check-ins. We'll keep you updated. For there to have been a state mandated home compliance check, McFadden would have had to be on probation, which he was not, according to the OC. So if the Okmulgee County Sheriff's Office decided to only check on Jesse McFadden once in 1 year, they're able to do so without the pressure of stricter state requirements. How crazy is that? Here is just a part of what the email conversation looked like between the DOC and I. I asked for clarification because I thought, surely I'm not reading this correctly. They were able to confirm, though, deleted the other photo because it mistakenly had a cell phone number in it. And then, there's the DOC. Interesting. I mean, I just can't get over how they dropped the ball. Gross. See you later, D-Lynn. Have a good day. Hey, Danielle. Happy Friday. Yeah, his face definitely did say it all. Oh, thank you, guys. Hey, Tiffany. Happy Friday. Keyboard. I'm definitely not against the death penalty for child sexual predators. Rehabilitation is for those who can be rehabilitated. The sad truth is that child predators reoffend quite often. Oh, I cannot wait for that verdict. It sucks because I'm going to be going to get the kids for school when it comes. But, oh, Danielle, have a good weekend. All right, let me see just a little bit more of what she put here after that. What was that? 3 out of 8 search warrants have been returned. Some of what's reported is inaccurate information, including who the 2 missing teens were. Unbelievable. All right, you guys. I think we've kind of went through everything. I've got to go get ready to go get Bentley from school. Trenton actually had to be picked up a little bit ago. So, yeah, and I'll see you guys later. Actually, this evening, I'm going on Checkmate Humanity with Jen Liu to talk about, because Checkmate Humanity started covering the Lori Vallow Daybell trial, but it was like super emotionally taxing on her. And she had a hard time. So she was like, you know what? I'm not going to cover it. I'm just going to come watch it with you guys or whatever, watch it wherever, and then maybe talk about it after. So she wants to do a live to talk about the case and also that about covering the case and just all of that. So I think that'll be really fun. I think that's at 7 Eastern. And I saw Miss Melissa Jade has a live, I think at 3. And you guys definitely go check her out. She does the trivia, but she does a lot of the same cases I cover. And she's very funny and very smart as a whip. Sharp, whatever, whatever that saying is. She's sharp as a tack or something like that. Yeah, I suck at trivia. You usually won't. If I go in there, I'll just go in and say hi. But I think I tried to play like the first time she did it. And yeah, there's no chance that I would ever get an answer out to win any of the questions that quick. So it's just not my thing. But I love her channel and her coverage of these cases. So you guys go check her out at 3. And then at 7 on Jen's. And then otherwise, I'll see you guys soon. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Mike. I live in Wisconsin, and we had a school student arrested for child porn, and it became a federal case. Oh, wow. I shared one on my community page the other day. I'm telling you, it was sick. It is sick. It was a teacher, teaching little kids, and it's just absolutely disgusting. That's scary when you think about the teachers and stuff. And beyond words, you all are so kind to us, and I just appreciate your style. Oh, thank you, Tiffany. I appreciate you guys so much. I really do. You guys have no idea. My channel, I couldn't do it without you guys, so thank you for being here. 2:30. Yes, ma'am. Let's in Amy Gone Rogue with Letitia Part 3. Oh, God. A whippersnapper. Yeah. All right, you guys have a good day. Toby. Quick as a whip or something like that. Oh, you're the best pointer lover. All right. Thank you, guys. Love you. Appreciate you. I'll see you soon. And yeah, have a great day. Bye.